guys, it's Tony Gattari here from Achievers Group with another really passionate, practical business video vitamin. Hey guys, I'm still in the process of talking to you about sales, and in particular, I'm really trying to address how do we establish people's needs. There's an old principle, no need, don't proceed. Now, what I'm about to share with you is an understanding that you need to actually get people to be thirsty. You've actually got to create a need in people. Now, sometimes that need is already there. So clearly they need something, so they go out and buy that. But I think in the economic environment, we actually have to really understand that sometimes you have to provoke a need. You have to agitate a need. And what I want to do is I want to show you in the next couple of slides of how to do that. And it's got everything to do with change, because selling is about change. And I want to really give you a very simple formula on how to change people, how to actually change people so they radically say yes to you straight away. Now, this technique can not only be used in sales, it can also be used in trying to persuade people from a team member's perspective, just in general relationships all the time. Now, before I show this to you, I really want you to be very comfortable that this is not manipulation. It is certainly persuasion. And in the wrong hands, it can be viewed as manipulation. And again, I just want to put a disclaimer here that I'm not your moral police. But I think it's really important that not only in a sales perspective, but you as buyers realize when others do it to you. Because in many of these tactics are used by fantastic marketeers too. So what are the tactics you've got to ask? Let's just go through how to change people instantly. Okay, now, how to change people instantly involves three major aspects. Number one aspect is that you need to make people dissatisfied with their current situation. And that's why you've got to ask really good questions, because fundamentally the role of asking good questions by a master questionnaire is to actually find the bruise. Now, your natural temptation is to come off the bruise. In fact, that's wrong. In fact, what you must do is ask a deeper question, a more emotional question on that issue to even stir their greater dissatisfaction. And I do this all the time. I'm a business advisor and coach. And I do know there are three major issues that most business owners have got: time, team, or money. Lack of time, really bad teamwork, and they have or lack of money. So clearly, one of the things that I'm going to ask is that if you, just to give you an example, to make you dissatisfied, I might say to you, John, how many hours are you currently working at the moment? And you might say, well, I'm working 70 hours a week. Now, my natural inclination is to come off that, but I wouldn't. I would ask you, well, how does that make you feel? Now, I could assume that they're dissatisfied, but a lot of people like working long hours because it brings them joy. So don't assume because you don't like it, doesn't think the prospect doesn't like it, because they actually might like that. But let's just say that I say, how does it make you feel? And he says, look, it's horrible, Tony. Clearly, I've got two young children, I never see them, and I have a wife or a partner that's saying I'm never home. Now, the next question, well, if that continued for the next 5 years, for example, what would happen to your life? And he might say, well, I'm not convinced that I would still be married. And you know what? I would regret not spending more time with my children. Now, I could say, and this would be true, so it would be safe to assume, John, it is essential that you actually spend more time with your family to enrich their lives. And you want your business to actually not be your prison, but you want to master it so it doesn't master you. Whereas, because, what I don't want to do is that in 10 years' time, you've got no time, but not only that, there is no marriage and there's no relationship with your children. How would that make you feel? Now, clearly evident at this stage, the prospect will be particularly dissatisfied. You have not exaggerated their current situation, but you've actually made it very, very real with very strong language and really powerful questioning. The next stage is quite simple. You have to show them how your product or service will actually help them to solve that problem. In many ways, and clearly understand, this is just an analogy, so I don't want anyone emailing me from a religious perspective, but that slide could be viewed as hell. You're living hell. the hell that you're currently in at the moment. And my job is to bring you to the light. My job is to actually show you what your heaven could look like in this particular world. And it's really important for me to show you the benefits of our product or service. It's really important to show you how your life could look like, how your business could look like. And it's really important for me to anchor what that would do to your life. I call it casting the dream. I call it vision casting. We all want to go to heaven, a place better than we currently are at the moment. So that's the next stage, and that's vision. So first of all, you make people dissatisfied with their current situation. You times it by the vision of what their business, their life could look like by partnering with your product or service. And the next bit is that you've actually got to show them the first step. And theologically, this would be called the stairway to heaven. And what you're doing is you're partnering with them in order to actually get there. So clearly, I just wanted to really articulate that because I think that's a really important concept, because I have done this and I've been able to change people instantaneously. Not because I'm particularly gifted, but I do understand there is a 3-stage process. Number 1, you make people dissatisfied with their current situation. Number 2 is you show them the vision of what their life could look like. And number 3 is you show them the first step. And if you really want to change people, if you really want to sell people, one of the greatest single barriers is procrastination. In order to smash procrastination, you actually have to use this technique, because this technique used correctly will stimulate even the people who were just looking and now they're moving into a buying stage. Because you've got to move lookers to buyers in order to buy your product or service. So hopefully that's given you some insight, and really just wanted to say thank you for watching once again, and God bless you, and I'll see you next time. Bye.